Hey, what's going on YouTube? Alabama Reloader here. So I've been out of commission for the past several weeks. I think 4 out of the last 5 weeks I have been traveling just all over the place. Yeah, New York, Albuquerque, Tucson, Phoenix. I've just sort of been all over the place for work. But finally got a little bit of time. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. That is the gift I got from Emily. Yeah, the old "I wouldn't deport you," Donald Trump coffee mug there. So that was really nice of her. Trump 2020. But I just uploaded a Frankford Arsenal IntelliDropper sort of final thoughts video. Go check that out if you're interested. If you're in the market for a digital powder dispenser, definitely check it out. And if you are looking for one, go over to Mr. Big Guns in Huntsville and see Matt, Tom, Daniel, any of those guys over there. They'll be more than happy to help you out. Great service, as always, over there. And really good deals, too, especially on the Frankford Arsenal stuff they've got going on. But the purpose of this video, so get off track, sidebar, start squirreling and talking about other stuff. So here we go. That is the Savage 110 Tactical in 6.5 Creedmoor. So we haven't even shot this gun yet. I've had it for a while, but I hadn't shot it yet. Mostly because the range that I like to go to is closed during this part of the year, and so just hadn't really been able to get a lot of shooting in. Plus with deer season, any free time I had, I'd much rather be in the woods. Deer season is now over. Check out this bolt knob on this thing. You can use it as a daggone hammer. Look at that. That's insane. But yeah, so pretty cool rifle. I've got Athlon Optics 4-14 by 44. First focal plane scope on it. It's got the illuminated reticle, so you've got the illumination there. So that's going to be a pretty cool setup, I think. Super budget friendly. I believe that scope was like $289. I wanted to get that one because I'm going to compare it to my my Primary Arms 4-14 first focal plane scope that I have. The Athlon Optics. So I picked this up over at Mr. Big Guns in Huntsville, I believe. That's where I got it from. They're an Athlon Optics distributor, dealer. So if you're looking for an Athlon Optics product, Crimson Trace, they came out with some new optics. Anything you need, firearms, which is where the rifle came from as well, Mr. Big Guns over in Huntsville. But we want to load for it. And so just kind of some of the things that you need to think about. This might not necessarily be like a reloading video walking you through all 50 rounds or anything like that. It's more or less going to be the thought process, how I chose the projectiles, the dyes, the powder, because I'm going to be testing a bunch of different stuff, but just for this initial video, what we're going to be diving into. So I was flipping through, this is the Hornady manual, the 10th edition, and I came across 6.5 Creedmoor. This guy, they have load data for 160 grain interlock round nose. Now, nowadays, right, everybody's caught up on their G1 ballistic coefficient. Look at that one. Oh yeah, a whopping 283. You've got a ton of better options out there in terms of your ballistic coefficient if you're looking to shoot 5 miles away and hit a prairie dog in the eye. But sectional density, this dude is like a sectional density monster at 328. So that was intriguing to me when I was flipping through here, and I didn't even realize they had load data for this bullet, but I was able to find some. Here they are, what they look like. Yeah, pretty gnarly. They've got a cantilever on them, but pretty much that's going to be the first projectile that we load for. So we're going to take our nice little Hornady overall length gauge. By the way, I saw this thing on Amazon, just in case y'all are wondering, like 15 bucks. That's way cheaper than you're going to find it anywhere else. I can promise you that. So you might want to check that out. So pretty much all you're doing, and I'm trying to do all this one-handed video with my phone, but you're going to get your modified case screwed down onto the gauge here. You're going to insert whatever projectile you're wanting to check the distance to the lands in your rifle. So there we go. Alright, so that is seated nice and tight. Alright, so that ain't going anywhere. Then you're just going to loosen your little screw there. Push the plunger in until basically you can't push the bullet anymore. Because now that projectile is making contact with the lands, the rifling. And so there you go. It's really that simple. And then you just pull this out. Typically, once you do that, your projectile will basically always, and I mean always, get stuck in the lands. So, oops, all you're going to want to do, everybody watching is like, dude, there you go. Just run your cleaning rod in there. There it is. All right. So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I got a big mess over here. Oh, jeez Louise. Loosen this thing up. It's never easy doing this stuff one-handed. There we go. Alrighty. Now, after that catastrophe, so you have it. I'm trying to do this one-handed again. So you're gonna reinsert the bullet back onto the modified case, and that, because you tighten down the plunger, right? That is the. And it's not wanting to focus. Want to focus on everything in the background. That will, booyah. That is your, according to this modified case and that projectile, that is your overall length where the bullet starts to touch the lands, okay? Where it's basically jammed into the lands, which is, you want to know that because you definitely don't want to load your rounds to that point. I believe Berger, if you shoot a lot of Berger, you're probably used to this because Berger actually, their load methodology and how they tell you to work up a load to find an accurate load. A lot of their bullets, they're not jump tolerant, so they actually need to be loaded either into the lands, right at the lands, jammed into the lands possibly, or really pretty much right at the rifling for you to achieve optimal accuracy. And they state that in their manual. I mean, that's no secret. But a lot of these other bullet manufacturers, they have more jump tolerant designs, bullet designs. There's more of your classic design here, round nose projectile. So there we go. And then what you'll do with that is you will use this. That is your bullet comparator. You'll just take that, measure from this groove. You'll put the bottom jaw into that groove and then feed the bullet into here. Once you zero that, you'll feed the bullet into there, and then that tells you your distance cartridge base to ogive. That's a good measurement to know because it's much more repeatable when you go to reload. And so that tells you some pretty good data that you need to know as a reloader. On the 6.5 Creedmoor, I went with the Hornady custom grade dies. I've had good luck with those with the 6mm Creedmoor, so I was like, why not? Because I already had the Micro-Just cedar stem thingamajig, so I can just swap it out, put it on this die set, and now I've got a Micro-Just seating stem or seating die. So pretty cheap way to get into it. I've got the, yeah, there we go. It's really bright outside. I finally got some sunshine. I've got the sizing die, full length sizing die already in. And so pretty much what I do, this is Starline small primer brass. All right. And they have small primer and large primer, small rifle, large rifle primer brass. I believe they offer both. Go watch Johnny's Reloading Bench. He explores. He had some hang fire problems in 6.5 Creedmoor, and he explored some of that, and he had better performance out of the small rifle primer brass and better consistency and all that. So that's what we went with. When I get a new batch of brass, okay, I don't, let's see. So on my brass prep, like for brand new brass, pretty much all I did was run these through the full length resize die. Now, I did not run them all the way up in there and do a full length resize. Okay, let me make that clear before somebody posts in the comments that I'm an idiot. All I do is run it up in there enough so that the expander ball can come through the mouth of the case, down and then back out. All I want to do is make sure that I have consistent sort of roundness with the case mouths for all 50 pieces. Okay, that's what I do. Typically I work in batches of 50. So that's what I did with these. And then after that, I came over here to my Lyman Case Prep Express and just ran these through the chamfer deburr tool. Okay, these two heads here, and then ran them through the brush, all right, on the case neck. So that's all I did. And pretty much the reason why I go through that process, one is uniformity. I try to make sure that everything is consistent as possible. That's my typical process. You know, when I'm using once fired brass, I'll run them all the way through the full length resizing die. All right. And then from there, I'll come over here, I'll clean the primer pockets, and then I'll do the chamfer deburr and the brush. So I try to keep everything, even on brand new brass, you know, that's ready to load out of the bag. I try to follow the same steps, you know, obviously tweaking a couple, but I try to follow, for the most part, the exact same process every time on my brass prep. On this, I'm not necessarily worried about, you know, punching paper at 1,000 yards. This rifle is primarily going to be set up for hunting applications, which is why we wanted to go with something that's a sectional density monster. This thing, it should destroy a deer or a hog. And then sort of here's the other bullet selections, if I can not shake so much. I found some 140 grain AMAXs. Those things are discontinued. I found those over at Mr. Big Guns in Huntsville. So yeah, some ELDX, some 125 grain partitions. We're using Federal Gold Medal Match small rifle primers, and we'll start off with H4350. I mean, that's the unicorn dust. This stuff's the gold standard. But that's basically what we're going to start off with. That's going to be our load. We're going to start with this bullet here, and we'll go from there, see how it performs, and then we'll just keep on going down the line. We got a couple of gold dots. We're going to try the 140 and the 120, the 125 Nosler Partition, the 120 Sierra Game Kings, or Pro Hunters, excuse me, Pro Hunters. We got the 140 AMAX, the 129 SSTs, and the 143 ELDX. So yeah, so this is strictly geared toward hunting application, but that's basically what we've got going on. Again, there's our rifle. Haven't even shot it yet. Looking forward to doing that. But pretty much on our load data, I think I was looking at. We are going to work up to the max, which is 40.6 grains of H4350. So if I'm doing 10 5-shot groups, I think we start at like 38.8 grains of H4350, and that'll put us running 0.2 of a grain increment up to 40.6. So that's pretty much it. These are already primed, ready to go. So I'm waiting on the scale to warm up, and it's been warming up for about 30 minutes now. Should be good to go. I'll start loading here in a minute. But that's pretty much it. I don't want to bore you guys too much on the actual reloading process. I just wanted to give you the details. Here's what we're doing. Here's why we're doing it. Yeah, and also I think somebody had asked on another video, when I get a new batch of brass in, when I go buy like a new bag or something, I basically measure every case, overall length, overall length on the case, and just make sure that everything is within spec. If anything is above the trim length, then I'll trim it, but for the most part, I don't trim unless I have a couple of pieces that hit the maximum overall length for the case. Then I'll run everything through the trimmer, but not until then. So that's pretty much it. So there you go, guys. So we're going to start down the path of... oh, man, that's good. We're going to start down the path of some 6.5 Creedmoor. And that's about it. So I hope y'all have a good one. And all these components, picked everything up over at Mr. Big Guns in Huntsville. Make sure you guys go check them out. They've got plenty of I've got the 6.5 stay ball also that I'm probably going to be trying in this cartridge. They've got a ton of that. They've got plenty of powder to choose from, components, you name it. They're getting in new stuff. It seems like every other day they're getting in new orders of reloading components and everything. So just go check them out. Tell them I sent you. And I hope y'all have a good one. See you later.